Premier League. It's not quite happening, is it, for us at the moment? Can't put your finger on it why. Again, we've dominated, but there's something missing in that final third. We've got all of the ball, and Gamoa comes on for the final 15 minutes, but we've only got ourselves to blame, for me, the reason we haven't won this game. Soboslai hits the bar with a penalty in the first half with a casual run-up, but then a moment of brilliance by McAteer sets up Florian Wirtz with a brilliant finish to put Liverpool in front. Into the second half, Wirtz is through, saved by the keeper. Gakpo has an effort cleared off the line. McAteer goes close, but then Konate gives a hospital ball to Frimpong. We lose it, and Marcus Edwards scores. McAteer then has a goal disallowed. Big chance when Jones rolls it across to McAteer for a tap-in, but the final ball is lacking, and the final ball is what cost us today. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1.
Steve Hunter there, summing up Liverpool's 1-1 draw with Burnley at Anfield in the Premier League. Thanks for joining us on The Reaction. I'm Mark Benstead, and coming up, we'll be getting the thoughts of Reds boss Arne Slot shortly. But let's begin with analysis from former Reds Phil Thompson and Jason McAteer, who joined me pitchside after the game. Liverpool did not play badly today, Tomo, but ultimately it's kind of a slightly similar pattern. A result we don't want and a scoreline we didn't want.
You always felt we needed another goal. I think the stats sort of tell you everything. There's been over 30 attempts at goal, a lot on target, which is not what we normally have. So that tells you in itself that at least the keeper's been making saves. We're having great chances, getting blocked shots. We missed a penalty. There was a lot of good things today. I said to you after about half an hour of the first half, I felt it was better today. It was a little bit quicker, still got to be quicker. There was things which were happening in the game when you went, yeah, now I can see they've been working on that in training, trying to attack, quick free kicks, just to keep things moving. But all in all, it's a draw. It's a draw against Burnley, and it's a game that we should have won, and we haven't. Same old story, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I felt, apart from a 10-minute spell in the second half where we just switched off, lack of concentration, they create an opportunity, Burnley, from our mistake. Tails were up and we never really then got a grip of the ball, never really dictated anything after that, and they slowly worked their way into scoring an equaliser. Apart from that, I thought it was a much better performance. I thought they got the ball down. I thought they were quick with the decision making. They moved it from side to side a lot quicker. As Tomo alluded to there, they created a lot of opportunities, 31 attempts on target, or 31 attempts at goal. And they've only scored one. Had they scored the penalty, it might have been a different result at the end of the day, but it wasn't. Tomo's right. We're still at that point where a 1-0 lead is still very slender for us, and there's still opportunity for the opposition to get back into it, which is what they did today, but only in a 10-minute spell. Apart from that, there was a lot of good stuff played by Liverpool. It was just really frustrating. We've drawn.
The 10 minutes was awful.
Yeah.
If I'm perfectly honest. That 10 minutes, we were sloppy in possession. There was no energy, there was no drive. There was people actually standing on the... Just standing and watching the ball go around instead of moving. Not getting that pass, but then getting the next one after it. It just seemed as though, well, we're 1-0 up and the second one will come. And it was the 10-minute spell where they felt, we've got a chance here. If we're going to score, it's going to be now. And they did, they got it. And you go, oh wow, here we got it. And then all of a sudden, we kicked into gear again. And we had a lot more possession, a lot more shots. But it's just not, we've got to win these games. Now, we were saying before it's Concertina and behind us. We're now only a point at Man United. But I think it's down to 10th. There's only 5 points between us and them. So we need to win these home games.
How do you avoid that drop-off after the breaks? It's not the first time this season where there's been a dip. Good in the first half, good tempo, good energy, and then it wasn't there after the restart. And even when the goal went in for Burnley, it didn't feel like there was a big reaction from the players. There was only Virgil really speaking. I think you'd want to see a bit more anger at that point, maybe, or maybe that's the wrong word for it, I don't know, but energy.
I think we've got no narcs in the team.
Yeah.
We've got no people who sort of, I'm not saying nasty, but you know, your Hendos, your Milners, Luis Diaz, God bless him, Diogo Jota, who throw an elbow at a defender and get angry with him and sort of upset people. We don't seem as though we want to upset people. We don't seem, there's not too many of us who want to put that tackle in which will get the crowd up. I haven't seen a sort of really robust tackle. Maybe Ibu now and again. But it's those things which we amble through games, and at times you might just lose a goal, as we did today, and then you're going, oh, here we go again. And we've got to try and pick it up. So within 5 minutes after the goal, you've seen us getting back into action, just like cranking up the pressure again. It's just not good enough consistently throughout the 90 minutes.
That's what I alluded to when I finished with, we just need to be horrible. And we obviously didn't have time to elaborate on it because we were finishing the show. It was the end of the pre-match, wasn't it? But Tomo's just touched on it there. You know, I just feel Liverpool are at the point now where we're just a nice team. I think teams enjoy playing against us. Yeah, they move us about and they can little tippy-tappy football in, out, goes out to the side, comes back in, little into the front man, back out, Vert's on it, little flicks and tricks, and and then it's this and that. It's like if you've got a good solid shape, which Burnley did for quite a lot of the game, that's actually quite easy to play against because you're like, well, go on, because the keeper's not doing anything. You're not putting balls in the box. You're not asking us any questions. It's all in front of us. It's all in, back, out to the side, then back to the centre half, and then back in, and then it's like Tomo alluded to it in the pre-show, right? And it happened time and time again. The amount of times I thought about him saying it, it's like when Jeremy Frimpong is being fronted up, and he's got a 2-on-1 situation where there's two defenders against him. All he's got to do is turn and just roll it, right? And then the ball comes in. The amount of times they ignored that opportunity again today was phenomenal. The amount of times I shouted, roll it back, roll it back, roll it back, and they just didn't. Just wrong decision making. But you've got to put the horrible balls in, keep putting them in, keep asking questions, keep asking centre halves to head the ball, keep asking the keeper, are you going to come and collect it? Are you going to come and punch? Are you going to centre halves deal with it? They're the things that defenders don't like doing. They don't like running back to the goal, and they don't like challenging, and like when you're playing little tippy-tappy balls and all centre halves are doing is just moving from side to side, they enjoy that. That's what they like doing. We've got to be horrible.
But it's almost two different things, though. It's horrible in the sense of making defenders do what they don't want to do, but also being horrible as in being a bit more aggressive, I say the word narky, or being a bit more angry at times, a bit more.
I've never seen us put a tackle in the middle of the pitch today. The game goes by, if we can't just sort of tow a ball to somebody, great. We don't. I think Kirk has made one tackle in the first half, and then the next one he puts a tackle in. It was in their box, but I can't remember a sort of proper tackle in the game. And I'm not saying that's the be all and end all, but balls into the box. Why is it that it's always one of the opposition who gets to it? We're going, never falls for us. We're never angry enough to go and put our foot in there to sort of somebody to kick it against us to keep the ball bouncing about in the box. It's just not falling our way at the moment, but we've got to make that happen.
If you talk about the great Liverpool teams, and even Jurgen's team, because they were horrible at times as well, he built a team that was in the mould of the great legend teams that we've had here. Opposition players, when I used to go away and talk to players that used to come here with other teams and stuff, you'd go, what was it like going to Anfield and playing it? And they'd go, it's just horrible. And you go, why? And it was not because they got footballed off the park, because if they put a challenge up to Liverpool, they get horrible. You go through the history, you got Case, Souness, McMahon, Whelan. You go through them, they were just horrible players. Even Spackers, horrible. Because they could mix it, they could play when they had to, but when it wasn't going their way, they just trample all over you to get the results. And that's what that culture and desire and mentality is of being a winning team. They just don't give it up.
There's no anger.
Yeah.
Out of our lads. Jake's probably right. We're too nice. There's no anger there from anybody's angry. Now you see Virgil going like that, but I don't like players when they go to the crowd and start. That's not anger. That's not sort of passion in my mind. I like to see people, even verbally, getting really angry. the opposition with themselves. It doesn't happen.
I know we create... The game's moved on. Listen, probably some of them players might even watch this and go, oh, right, well, it's not like that anymore. It's not. The game's moved on. We're a different athlete now. They're a different footballer. There's a different mentality. But there's still a place in the game to question each other. There's still a place in the game to say, that's not good enough. Like, I played with some great leaders on the pitch. Roy Keane, he demanded on the pitch that you give 120%. He demanded it. Tomo was one of them players. Souness was like, they demand. And it's just, they question you. There's still a place in the game for that. And I listened to Tomo there, and when you look at the performance, like sloppy balls are given away. Who is having a go at each other? Who is pointing fingers and going, that doesn't happen again? Jordan Henderson, I go back to Jordan Henderson. I made a comment when we were talking about Mo Salah. I was away doing another TV company, and I questioned, I said, you know what? You talk about Mo Salah, and this isn't a one-man team. We didn't have all this success because of Mo Salah. We had this success because we had 15 clean sheets from Ali. We had a really good back four. We had a leader in Jordan Henderson. We had other players creating things. It was a collective why we won it. Don't get me wrong, Mo Salah's numbers were phenomenal, but we didn't win the league just because of them numbers. We won the league because we had a bit of everything. And a bit of everything is leadership from Jordan Henderson, James Milner, even Adam Lallana when he was here for a little bit, Robbo. They all added into that leadership. And that leadership is questioning each other when it's not going well. You've got to pull the best out of each other. You've got to ask questions, haven't you? You've got to put people accountable. You've got to hold players accountable.
I think it's always important. We do these shows to try and strike balance with everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's really fair that we make that kind of point about today, because that was missing in part of the match. But then the funny thing is, actually, as we started with, it was better in a lot of elements. That's kind of what's more frustrating, is the fact that first 45 minutes, there was a lot of nice stuff. And as you both pointed out, you look at the stats from today's game, we'll bring them in for you now. The numbers aren't bad. They're much better than some of the other games we've had like this. So if this was one game in isolation where we drop points against a promoted team, or what you would call a lesser team, then you could kind of excuse it. But because it's happened a few times, it becomes more of a bigger debate. But you look at the numbers, though, look how much of the ball they've had. Look at the shots they've had, the shots on target, the XG, the big chances. All those things are better than we've had in a lot of these games.
We've got through this block, but we've not just took our chances. We've got to be more clinical. We've got there because we've all wanted more sort of excitement. 11 attempts at goal is just, I think, 32 shots altogether. That tells you there's something going on. It's quite exciting. But it's the 11 on target, which is the big thing. But it's not enough. You have to win games. You have to give these people, and we're not doing that at the moment. And that's what's coming out of Jason and myself. There's frustration of a game that you should have won, and there's another one that's passed you by. It's 4 draws, and the number of points, if we could have had those, and we should have won them all, by the way. It doesn't matter how we play. We should have won all those games. And it tells you its own story.
Yeah,
them stats and what we're looking at there, that tells you the football's better, right? Which is a massive positive, because the football hasn't been great at times, but that tells you the football's better. It was quicker. There's lots of positives about today's game, but we didn't win it. Why didn't we win it with them stats? Because there was something missing. What's missing? And it's what we're talking about. It's like, who's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck? Who's going to point a finger and go, that doesn't happen again? Or get down the line, get wide, get it in. Who's going to? There's none of that. It's kind of like we play nice.
Sometimes today it was we were trying to score the perfect goal.
Yeah.
It was keep it, cross, just in there. Jeremy gets byline, pulls it back, and he strikes it. It's all with sort of 25 passes, with every sort of move. And it was though, because you're playing against a packed defence, we were looking at it, and sometimes, and it was amazing. It was about 10 yards. The whole of their 10 players from the edge of the box. Just think about that. Is hard to sort of break it down. And again, another team, 5 at the back, literally rigid 5 at the back, and it's sort of stopping us. Everybody's piled into it all, but it's working for teams, and we're going to have to be like this right the way through to the end of the season.
I thought, to give Burnley credit, I thought they did it well today, and they threw the body on the line. There were some blocks on the line as well. They were They were getting people in a line and dealing with a lot of the threat. They rode the luck a couple of times, what you have to do when you set up like that.
That you should expect. Yeah. And I think it's quite easy to coach a team like that, defensive. They pushed up when we were trying to build it out. But as soon as if we were slowing it, bang, they were all back there. And it's just get back there, make sure you head everything, you kick everything. They threw bodies on the line, the blocked shots. It was just, that should be the least that you expect. And everybody says, oh, we defend that and we deserve something. No, we deserve to win the game. We were by far the better team. So them defending away, so it should be when you've got that many bodies in the box, throwing yourself in front of the ball all the time. Yes, it's, Scott Parker won't take any great accolades and say how well we've done, but he'll go, I'd expect it when everybody's in front of the behind the ball.
32 shots by Liverpool today. It's the highest number of shots attempted in a single match by any side in the Premier League this season. So again, something to underline. This wasn't a poor performance.
Wasn't.
What I think you did find towards the end, some of those shots, there was McAllister one from distance that was kind of, you're running out of ideas. Is there a problem when you have a few games like this, which we've had, where the belief sucks out of both the team and the fan base? You saw a few people making for the exits a little bit early. We hadn't seen that for a long period of time because there was always that belief, well, where it's 92, 93, 97 minutes, we're scoring a goal here. Because we've done it so often in the last, 5 years.
It's following a trend, isn't it? We are seeing this. How many draws is that in the spin? Is that 3 league draws? 4 league draws, yeah. It's becoming a trend. And, you do end up running out of ideas and you do end up taking pot shots. I mean, Dominic Szoboszlai had one from about 45 yards. Everyone was just going, no, and he hit it. And, and then McAllister has one, Frimpong balloons one over the bar. You just get a little bit desperate, don't you? And you're just searching for it. But
we can go through the team, Mark. There's a lot of good performances today.
Yeah, there was.
We're standing here and it's frustration from us. We're like all the fans. We feel frustrated and we're looking at probably all the things which we believe sort of tactically, technically has gone wrong here today. But you look all around the team and you go, there's some good performances. Yeah. There was some who looked a bit tired. But certainly Jeremy Frimpong, Kerkez, good. We were saying, for Jeremy, we wanted some better crosses. There was better crosses today, I believe. Pullbacks, finding people. Kerkez looked energetic and sort of getting forward and delivered far better balls. And there was a lot of sort of good displays today.
Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff today.
But that's what I'm saying. It's almost, you have to separate two different things. So it was the first time since 80-81 that Liverpool have failed to beat any of the 3 promoted sides at home. But if you took this performance here today against Burnley and compared it to the game against Sunderland or the game against Leeds, this was probably the best of the 3 performances. This one, they didn't deserve to drop points, whereas maybe Sunderland, for example, at least they maybe did. So that's the difference. So we can look at it in isolation and say, today is not the issue per se, but it's the trend across the season.
It's a trend because what we're seeing now, which we haven't seen for a while, is this, and we talked about it, we made a big thing, and the boss mentioned it, this slow block. This slow block, everybody's doing it now. I think more now than ever I've seen. And it's not just against us, it's about Man City. It's about Arsenal. Teams do it. We are only just finding our way, sort of how to break them down. It's come at a time when we've got a lot of draws there. So the big thing is don't lose faith with the manager, with the staff. Oh, yeah. It's got to be there. This, you can see we're unbeaten in 12. Yeah, it's not been great. We said it before the game. But we are on this run, so we've got to persevere. All the fringe players who got brought in this year are starting to perform.
But on that, if we're looking for things to take forward from it, the goal today comes from Florian Wirtz. He continues to increase his numbers as the season goes on. And you watch the games and you see the way he becomes more important. They get the ball to his feet, things can happen. Little touches around the corner, looking for the pass. He's such a great option. And you just want to see that develop and other players get on the same wavelength more and more, because that's the ring to really cling to in the second half of the season, isn't it?
He sucks you in, doesn't he? He's like, you want him on the ball all the time. It's just the way he plays, his balance, his vision, his touch, what he sees, his movement, and then his end product. I mean, he very, very rarely gives it away, does he? He's got some lovely, lovely ability about him. Yeah, and his goal was great, wasn't it? He smashes it into the top corner.
Do you think his goal was great? Because we were looking at it, and Dubravka, the Burnley goalkeeper, had made about 3 or 4 saves,
To
all
the-
to his left-hand side.
Yeah.
And
went
he's
to the
gone,
right.
that's a good eye for him. And lo and behold, Flo's just gone like that and whipped it in the near post. It's probably done him.
But
It was
also as
great.
well, today there was probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 sort of moments like that where the ball's dropped in the penalty box in a similar sort of distance, and it's either been blocked or the connection. Frimpong had a few where it wasn't good. McAllister had one late on which he put somewhere, God knows where. Whereas Wirtz, in that moment, had the awareness, has the quality, and he whips it past Dubravka.
Listen, like Tomo said, and I just want to reiterate what he said. We're not here, being very critical of the team, and we're not here to have a real go at them. What we are is we're a little bit frustrated because that was a really good, for me, a good footballing performance, and one that has been coming, and you just wanted them to get rewarded for that. But if you want to be a great team, as this team have been under different managers and through the history, you have to have something more about just being a good footballing team. The complete package is the mentality of winning, how to win, how to grind the results out. This team is not there yet. This team is where they were today. This team they can put a good performance in, but they can still get stung and still draw the game, as they can at Leeds, as they can at Fulham, as they can at Sunderland. Liverpool, great Liverpool teams don't get beaten in them games. They just don't. Now, that's not to say this team's not going to go on and be a great team. It's got the potential and the foundations to do that. Of course it has. It's got some fantastic, wonderful players. It's got, I think, a really good tactical manager who knows what he's doing. They just need a bit of time, and that will come, I think. I think that will come. I think the players will figure that out. I think there's enough in that dressing room to think.
I would like to think against better teams, we could find a way to beat these lesser teams. That seems to be an issue. And this is a team which is growing. So we have to sort of be patient as it's going. And I know that's hard. People will be going, we should be beating these teams. Yeah, I get it. But we're on this cycle where we're moving forward. Yeah. But I think coming against, when teams play 4 at the back as Arsenal did, how well we played down there, it's not often we play against a 4 anymore. It's like from sort of 5th, from 6th and 7th down, everybody's playing 5 at the back against us to sort of put a low block. Go on, now you've got to beat us and we'll hit you, either on the break or with a set piece. So we're learning that way, and I feel like this team is delivering at the moment. It's all not right, but it is, because it's, as I say, and people who are going to watch the match, it's not bad. There's been a lot of chances there. It's just frustrating.
The Liverpool FC retail winter sale is on now. Save up to 70% on selected items, including LFC label fashion and souvenirs. Save 20% on selected Adidas, including 25-26 season home kit. And all Red members save an additional 10%. The Liverpool FC retail winter sale is on now.
At your official LFC stores, online at liverpoolfc.com/store, and on the official LFC store app.
As Tom mentioned at the top of the show, things are sort of concertinaing up in the Premier League. So let's just show you what's happened today elsewhere in the division. It began at lunchtime with the Manchester derby. A brilliant start for Michael Carrick in his first game back at the helm at Old Trafford. They won by 2-0. And Mbemo and Dorgo with the 2 goals. United had 3 though, disallowed, offside, and hit the post twice in that game as well. In the 3 o'clock kickoff, João Pedro and Cole Palmer scored for Chelsea as they beat Brentford by 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. A late winner for Leeds United in their game against Fulham. McAteer with that. Of course, it was 1-1 between Liverpool and Burnley here at Anfield. Sunderland, some of their players back from AFCON, managed to get a win over Crystal Palace. 2-1 it finished at the Stadium of Light. Lafi and Broby with that. Broby scored a few late winners and late important goals for Sunderland so far this season on the score sheet again today. And Spurs, well, this is perhaps the headline result of the day. Massive, massive pressure on Thomas Frank now. They lost at home to West Ham by 2-1. Somerville opened the scoring for the Hammers. Romero did equalise for Spurs, but Callum Wilson won it for the visitors in the 93rd minute. Spurs have still only won 2 home league games this season. And the late game today is Nottingham Forest against the league leaders Arsenal. A few games on Sunday as well. Wolves, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth on Monday night. Premier League table looks like this. The Reds are in 4th, but look how tight it is. A stack of teams, a handful of points away from us, and that gap between Liverpool and Aston Villa still sits at 7 points, and Villa have a game in hand. Bottom of the table looks like this. A point for Burnley, but they're still a good way from safety. Still, 6-7 points from safety as well, with Forest, who sit in 17th. West Ham, that's an important victory for them. Gives them a little bit of hope. Now just 4 points from Forest. Wolves, as we mentioned in the pre-match show, look like their race could be run already. I'll get back to us in a minute, but Thomas Frank, it feels like that might be the final moment for him. Huge pressure, boos again at the London Stadium. Difficult when you're not winning games generally, but when you're not winning in front of your own fans as well, against a team that has struggled all season, it feels like maybe the tide could have turned against him.
They would have loved a draw. And I know it might not have done Thomas Frank any good because he's under so much pressure. But it's a big club, and he's gone in there, and there's not been too much of a change. No new manager bounce, nothing sort of different. This Brentford team were just hard working. They all put a shift in. He didn't look for any star players. He had them. Set pieces were a big thing with him. And Spurs don't seem to have that. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a great pitch, bigger pitch than Brentford's, and it's how you deal with that and how you get away from it. Yeah, yes, he's under massive pressure. Will he see it out? It's going to be extremely difficult.
It's funny how it can change so quickly, can't it? I'm sure I seen him in 4th around beginning of November. They kind of were doing okay, weren't they? And then they lose Maddison, Solanke, Kulishevsky. They lose some big name players, some big players for them, and all of a sudden, they find it very difficult to win at home. The crowd are, they expected change, like Tomo said. New manager comes in, you expect that, like the lift. They didn't think it could get any worse after Ange, but it just feels like it's the same script, doesn't it? So, be interested to see. They are under different leadership. Obviously, Daniel's gone, hasn't he? Daniel Levy's gone, and be interesting to see what. It's still in Joe Louis' hands, isn't it? I think his daughter runs it now, so it'll be interesting to see where they go. Whether they see Thomas Frank as maybe the long term, they just got to ride it out. We'll have to wait and see. But it's as football goes, it doesn't look great, does it?
Further up the table, to return it to our particular interest, which is the race for European football, the race for Champions League football, perhaps more so. You just think Manchester United, buoyed by what they've done today. Yes, it's only one result, it's only one performance, but given they've got no midweek games, they hardly play, they've got time to spend on the training ground, they should be one of the real favourites to push into those top 4 positions and a real threat to the likes of ourselves, should they not, given the advantages they have in that regard.
Yeah, but come on, Mark, this is a team which has been labelled a basket case in the last couple of days, never mind the last couple of weeks. One game is not going to change things too much. They've got a lot of hard work to do. Yes, they haven't got many games to play and they can prepare and do things like that. But all is not right there. And you can see it, whether it's in the background, as too many people say. These are sort of up there and then down there within 1 or 2 games. So there's a lot more for them to do. We cannot let them get on a roll, and I think that's where there could be problems with them if they do get on a roll.
I'd say you just spoke about consistency there, being up and down. I think that little block of 5 or 6 teams. I think they're all in that kind of bracket. You just don't know what you're going to get, do you? I mean, you'd expect Liverpool to beat Burnley at home today, and we end up drawing Leeds, Sunderland, Fulham. So it's one of them. United, listen. Michael Carrick's had a fantastic result today. I don't know what he did with the system. I assume he changed. He looks like he would have.
He went back to a 4. Mainu played.
That was going to be obvious, wasn't it? The first thing he was going to do was go away from Amarin's formula, and he's got the result. But what I did see was they did look okay. They look promising, and for what up against Manchester City, it's never an easy game, is it? But
next game for them is Arsenal.
The thing is, they're at home. Nobody's expecting much of them. They're playing against Manchester City. It's a derby game. They're at home, they're mans of the fans, and they're ready to give Michael Carrick a little bit of sort of slack. And it was a free hit for them. Yeah. And you could see that. Their problems is when they play the lesser teams, as we're finding, and they can't raise the game, and there's players that they're sloppy, because we've seen so many games like that for Man United. I don't know why we're talking about them.
But then you've got Newcastle. You've got Newcastle in the mix.
Because they're basically behind us is the point I'm making.
I think
My point is that it's so condensed, and you're looking at how things will fall for teams. For good or bad, I mean, different people have different views of it. They literally have only that to focus on. That's their only goal between now and the end of the season, which I think maybe makes them a more dangerous opponent than some of the other teams. Maybe they'd be dismissed before, as now I think they're a slightly different beast to what we maybe would have thought of them, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
I think there's Newcastle. I think Brentford will fall away. Sunderland are starting to fall away, although they had a great result today. The disappointing thing for me is the points we've dropped is, like Tomo mentioned, you've let Villa get adrift. That's the annoying thing. Now it looks like it's 1 from 5, doesn't it, to get in that Champions League position. I don't know where someone's going to come from at maybe a bit of a later run and maybe be in the mix, but Newcastle are on a good run at the minute. They seem to have found a bit of form.
Well, they're playing sort of tomorrow, is it? Have they got Wolves tomorrow? And if they win, they go a point behind us.
Yeah. So it really does come congested for that one Champions League place, and we know how important that is for us.
Yeah, that's going to be a big target for Liverpool between now and the end of the season. They have to put a run of victories together and sort of add a little bit of steel to what has been this great undefeated run we're on just now. But wins are perhaps going to be vital in the league in the next weeks to come. OK, let's get some more reaction then to today's game here against Burnley. We can hear from the Reds manager, Arne Slot now. He's inside, speaking with Peter McDowell.
Well, boss, because of the end result, you'll be disappointed, but there will be lots of mixed feelings, I imagine, from today.
No, my main feeling is disappointment, because in football it's always about the result, and it's not for the first time after a game that players, fans are disappointed. I think it was different today in a sense that we even had more ball possession than we usually have, and we created much more chances than we usually do with that ball possession. So that's probably what you mean with that there are also positives to take. But in the end, Burnley at home, with all the respect to them, but promoted side, we should be better. We should create more chances than them, but we should also win the game if you are Liverpool.
It seemed so much more balanced than, there was a point in the game where the crowd was singing about the Liverpool way. Such was the appreciation of how you'd gone at it. It felt a bit different today, the performance here.
No, definitely. I think in the beginning of the season, when we started losing games, there were a lot of games where we created quite a lot of chances, but we conceded a lot as well. Then there was a period of time where we did not create as much anymore, but hardly conceded a chance, and that's in the run we are in now. That's why we haven't lost for a long time. And today I think we had a good combination of hardly conceding a chance and creating a lot, but still not able to win, and that is a frustration for everyone involved with Liverpool.
And just finally, those fine margins, you've spoken about them a lot, haven't you, this season? It's how to change them. It's the $1 million question in many ways, isn't it? Is it a matter of luck? Is it just grit and determination that gets you out of that situation?
If it goes on, as long as it goes on with us, because I don't think we've stolen any point this season, and so many times we've been on the wrong side of the score when it comes to performances. So then at some point you can argue if it's luck or bad luck, but again, players try to do everything till the end. We try to make offensive substitutions as well, and that's the way you try to force your luck. And in the end of the game, we were a few times very close, but close is not enough.
It's interesting, he said, when it goes on for as long as this, you wonder whether it's luck or not as you look for solutions. And I guess it becomes frustrating as a coaching staff, doesn't it, Tom, when you have games like this where you've done enough effectively to win a game, but you don't get 3 points for it.
At least today, we've gone like that. Yes, I think everybody will have gone, we should have won this game. But a lot of the other games, it was people were angry. Maybe we didn't create as many chances. Sunderland, Leeds, but most of those games you should have won. Go back to the Manchester United game here. Because of the team you were playing and because we lost a goal late on, we should have been 3-4 up against Manchester United. But you're allowing them still to be in the game, and they sneak one at the very end. That's the Premier League for you. That's when there's a little bit of quality. But that game, as with many others, we should have won. It just does not seem to be happening. And as Arne Slot said there, he tried everything. He tried with all the offensive substitutions to get that right result, and it's just not getting that break at the moment. But you have to earn it. You have to earn that right. And just sometimes it's just not enough is going for us.
You don't always get what you deserve. Sorry, you don't always get what you deserve in football. We've played in many matches where we've come off scratching your head thinking, how have they nicked the point? That's probably how they feel in there. But there are too many games this season where we know why teams have nicked the point, and it's not down to luck. It's just down to game management. Or again, we go back to that being horrible and just not letting teams get back into the game. You know, we let them get back into the game by a sloppy ball out of defence, which was intercepted, and then they fire one across the box. Konate slides in, Alisson makes a great save, they almost score an equaliser, and like we were talking during the VT, and like Tom said, all of a sudden they go, oh, hold on a minute. So they press a bit higher, and then they get a bit more joy. And then the 23, Perez, starts dictating the play, starts getting on the ball, starts enjoying himself, little 1-2s around the box. Next thing, they slip one in, Edwards scores, 1-1. Crowd go flat. Everyone's, from the Liverpool perspective, is looking at each other going, well, who can I blame here? It's like...
As Pete said to them, the crowd were with the team, with Arne Slot, because we were seeing some great patterns of play, chances created, and they started singing the Liverpool way. So they were singing it for a reason, because they liked what they were seeing, and it was there, and we were getting we were creating good chances, but there was a lot of good football, which has not been the case all the time, and it's just the boss scratching his head, wondering how the hell it's another one which has got away.
The one that's slipped away. I just wonder how he'll view the challenge ahead now, because he's getting some players back bit by bit. We saw there was a little bit more on the bench in some ways, but we've lost Conor Bradley. Mohamed Salah will come back. Does that help? You know, it strengthens his hand. He's got more choice. He's got more options to affect games. One thing that you can't throw at Arne Slot, he doesn't try and change it during a game. He always turns to his bench. He always tries to manoeuvre his systems. We look at that and say he's got some of the bodies to call on potentially in the coming weeks, and that will help him as well.
I don't know. I feel like he's got too many riches, isn't it? And it's like kind of, well, what do I do now? Because I could throw him in, but it's going to change the dynamics. I could throw him, but it's going to be this. I don't know. It's difficult. Listen, Salah's the obvious, isn't he? He's come back from the AFCON. Fortunately, got knocked out in the semis, wasn't it? Sadio Mane's done him again.
Fourth place.
Yeah, Sadio Mane's done him again, and it's like he must be scratching his head. But yeah, you know, he's going to have him back very soon. Everyone's looking at Mo, what are you going to give us? You know, you left under, well, it was a good performance just before he left. Whether he comes back and goes straight back into the side remains to be seen. But yeah, he probably
gives him
will.
An option. It gives the boss another option.
He probably will.
And a good option at that, whether he starts or not. They'll have to check his fitness levels. It's when he comes back. We've got the Champions League game, then next weekend's game. So, you know, it's what his fitness is like, but he does give you a very big option.
If he comes back and plays like he did in the game before he went away, then that is a real, you know, addition to our forward line.
A happy moment.
Would be a timely one, I think, based on the way things have gone of late.
The Liverpool FC retail winter sale is on now.
At your official LFC stores, online and on the official LFC store app.
You'll never walk alone.
Seeing Arsenal play, obviously, this evening, it kind of feels, you know, given what happened with City today as well, it kind of feels like it's Arsenal. Well, I was going to say, it's Arsenal's there to lose, is it not?
Yeah, I always felt if they get a gap, Arsenal, I think they will go on and win it. I always felt if City kind of stay on their coattails and ask that question, which has failed Arsenal. They've answered every other question, but the one is, can they win it from being up top with someone closing in on them? They've failed to do it over the past few seasons, haven't they? Finished second. So if they get that gap, which all the other teams seems to be saying, well, go on, take it, then I think they'll go on and win it.
You always feel when you're sort of that team and you're searching to try and break the duck, try and break it, you always have to have heartache before you actually crack it, and then you do it and then you win it.
Certainly the case here.
And I think maybe it's that time for them to do it. Like they've gone on second. And it breaks your heart. But you've seen them amass. They have probably a better bench even than Manchester City. It's strong. They've got horrible players in there who'll compete for everything. The set plays are the best in the Premier League. But you look at them, they're angry, they're nasty, they're all there together. And if the whole unit's all work for them, But then you turn to the bench, who am I going to pick today? And the whole bench is full of quality.
Again, someone just touched on it, mentality. You know, to get over that line, you know, they can mix it. They've shown really good qualities, Arsenal, this season. Champions quality, coming from behind a few times this season, late goals, you know, knocking on the door all the time, asking questions, then game management. Defensively, they've been solid. You know, he plays a back four. They're all like centre halves, aren't they? You know, even the full-backs are big, tall. He's got
literally centre halves.
Well, they are, aren't they? Yeah. And he's got like set pieces. You know, he gets the most out of them. There's no stone unturned. He's addressed the centre forward issue. He's going to have Havertz back. He's got Jesus back. Gyökeres is starting to find his feet a little bit more. Odegaard's okay. He's got cover for him with Eze. You got Saka out wide. You know,
the wide positions are their strength.
Yeah.
I think. Still, I think Jesus and Gyökeres, I'm not sure they're the right finished article for them, but they're better than what they had, Gyökeres. But you look at them and you seem to go, wow. I see when they can't score from open play, they've got to go from. You know, we look at our set plays today. We just put the ball in the box. There's no corner kicks, which underneath the goalkeeper. Theirs is all absolutely got things to perfection. Long throws, corner kicks, free kicks, everything seems to be choreographed.
Yeah, Arsenal, the team to beat in the Premier League so far this season. They're actually doing pretty well in the Champions League as well, and that is the next focus for the Reds. They head to France in midweek. Let's throw up the Champions League table to underline the task in hand for Arne Slot's side in Europe. Work to be done just outside the automatic qualification spot at the moment in 9th. Of course, the top 8 go through to the last 16 automatically. As it stands at the moment, the Reds would be in that knockout playoff round. 2 extra games. Not what you would want, ideally, if you can avoid it. What have you made of Liverpool's Champions League run so far, Jason? It's not been perfect, not quite as much of a stroll as last season, but we've seen enough, have we, to suggest we can weave our way through to the latter stages?
It's shining light at times, hasn't it? You know, like, we haven't been playing well and then we'll go away to Milan and win, won't we, Inter and other games in the competition we've kind of won when we haven't been playing well, and it's like, so it's been quite good. I think 2 wins, Marseille and Karabakh, will take us into that knockout.
Into the top 8, but it's you see the bottom of our second part of the group there, and the bottom on 9 points was Marseille, who were playing, so it's a massive sort of game for us in midweek. But the PSV result was a real damaging blow. You know, that was our home games. You had to look, because we had difficult away games. Our 4 games was all tough, but you look at them and so you win your home games and get a couple of decent away results. So the PSV result it was a real body blow.
Marseille have won 2 of the 3 home games so far. Beaten Ajax, beat Newcastle, interestingly, but did lose at home to Atalanta. But it's a difficult place to go, the Velodrome. They're up for it. There's a big atmosphere, and they've got attacking players who bring good tempo and a good goal threat as well. Aubameyang's there, Mason Greenwood is there, Paixão's there, guys who have shown this season they can score and score goals well.
I've been there. When I was with Gerard Houllier, we went there to the Velodrome. It's horrible. It's a horrible place to go. They are passionate. They are sort of committed in a lot of different ways. It was awful. It was you talk about intimidation, and so we'll have that to deal with. But you look at it and they've got decent players. I've seen a bit of that Real Madrid game in the Bernabeu. Wow, were they good? And as you say, up front, they weren't afraid. They had 3 up front and they was getting the ball and they were running at them. Madrid were very, very sloppy. But these are a good team. So we're going there. This is going to be a tough one. We get a draw and then a home win against Karabakh. That'll do us to get through to the next stage, which is the most important thing at the moment.
Yeah, we've been speaking about the need to shake off some of these draws in recent weeks, but actually a draw next midweek would be pretty decent, wouldn't it? That would not be a bad result.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, they can blow hot and cold. I don't think it's been as a successful season as what it was, certainly in the league, than what they were last season. But they've got some quality, as Tomo said, that the place will be intimidating, and they'll relish the opportunity to play Liverpool, who doesn't. Liverpool at their own ground. What a game that is. What a fixture that is. So they want to put a show on, and they've like Mason Greenwood's going well. You've seen Aubameyang, if he wants to, he can turn up.
A couple of goals against Newcastle, albeit Nick Pope made a mistake for one of them, but still, Aubameyang has shown that he's still got a bit about him.
He can still put the ball in the back of the net. He still knows where it is, but
he's a disruptive influence, Aubameyang, and that is what. But there's still a player in there. Yeah. There's still somebody who can turn it on, and because Liverpool are coming to town, you can bet your life he will be absolute. He'll run more, he'll chase more, he'll put more challenges in than what he does in the French league. You'll see completely different players because it's Liverpool.
Yeah, they're 8 points off the leaders Lens in the Ligue 1 table, so big focus for them is Champions League football at the moment because they've fallen so far off the title challenge, and that is the challenge in the here and now for Liverpool. But they've also got an away game to come next weekend as well in the Premier League against Bournemouth. It feels like both those fixtures, big onus on them, have to take something in midweek, probably have to win down on the south coast against Bournemouth, just with the way that the table is that we've alluded to earlier.
Yeah, Semenyo not being there, he turns it on against us normally, but it's not a nice ground. We've always, although we've done all right down there, we've never performed convincingly, and it's tight. It's hard. It's small ground. It's passionate, and sometimes we go down there and we're a bit sloppy. Every time I've seen us go down there, we don't start well, and I think we ease ourselves, and you can lose a goal in that period, and I just think we've got to go down there and have a proper attitude right from the very start and go for them.
I don't think it'll be a game where they sit on the edge of the box. Iraola likes to come out and attack, certainly at home. They're a good watch actually at home.
I think he's a four at the back, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think he likes his four at the back. So,
but they've had. We spoke in the build-up to the game here at the start of the season where they had their entire defence wiped out because they'd all moved on to bigger and better things. One of them's ended up here, and we thought, they've rode that out. But then since then, it's become a real problem for them. 40 goals conceded prior to this weekend's fixture, one of the worst records in the division. But yet, they'd come into this weekend having scored more goals than Liverpool. So the game actually here on the first weekend of the season kind of sums up where they're at just now. Can be good offensively, but they will give you opportunities at the back as well.
Yeah, and listen, it's going to be a different game and a different challenge to what we face today. And I think that kind of performance from Liverpool today, that beats Bournemouth. That will beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth there'll be a lot more space, a lot more open. They'll try and, like I said, he likes to play Iraola, hence why they've conceded so many goals, but hence why they've scored so many as well. So, it'll be a good game next weekend. It could be a spectacle, but like Tom said, it's down to the mindset of Liverpool. They've got to go there, they've got to start quick, they've got to get on the front foot, dictate the tempo, be clinical. If they get themselves in front, there's going to be more reward there as well.
10 goals for this man, Semenyo, so far this season. For Bournemouth, obviously he's moved on and got a couple for City already. Yeah. You just kind of feel, don't you, for a manager when, so we just mentioned he's lost his entire defence nearly in the summer, right? At least I've got my forward line. His star forward player's now gone halfway through a season, although they've got other guys they've brought in since they've got like Krupi, who's shown real ability. It's a big ask to then maintain the levels you've been at.
Of course you feel for them, but they know what they're getting themselves into. These clubs, that's how they work. That's their business model. That's what they do. And they survive season on season on season because the recruitment is very, very good. They do the due diligence. They know what they're doing. They're prepped for it. When Semenyo's got, listen, they'll have a replacement for Semenyo already. They'll know who they want to bring in. And with the money that's in the Premier League now, even the likes of Bournemouth can go into Spain, can go into Italy, can go into France, and they can buy very good quality players.
The recruitment's one of the best, if not the best, of that size club. Yeah. And they keep on sort of plucking these players out and making. Where does Semenyo come from? Bristol City or Bristol Rovers or something like that? And you see him. He's such a good player. But they've had loads of them, haven't they? Yeah. And you look at them now, and they have sort of. When all those players went in the summer, they started off quite well. Yeah, that was unlucky against us because it was only 2 late goals that we could see us through the game. But you could see this decent team and you were saying, right, we'll show you all, we're better than that. But then once they realised that, oh, well, here we go, all of a sudden the result starts to go against them. But they still have match winners in that team. But they're a little bit defensively, they're not quite as strong. 1
win since October the 26th. That is the issue they're on. They play Bournemouth on Monday night. Just in terms of the approach, so it feels like we'll get more opportunities. It won't be, as we said, the setup we saw today. So that should help Liverpool if we can be clinical enough.
I think it's maybe one of those games where, and although it's Bournemouth, it's a difficult one. It's for Joe Gomez at right back and Jeremy on that right hand side, depending on Mo's fitness levels, how he sees it, whether he needs a rest after the AFCON. But I do think it's maybe that sort of a game to get Jeremy standing up there all the time to take him on, because even today he put quick people against Jeremy and he still had the legs of them to get in there. We just got to capitalise on that now.
Fingers crossed the boys can. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks. As always, results aside. Thanks for being with us on The Reaction. We're back on Wednesday following Liverpool's trip to take on Marseille in the Champions League. If you haven't already, then please do give us a follow to make sure you don't miss an episode when they drop. Bye for now.